Hey everyone, I'm George. Welcome back to the video. So today we're going to talk about every superhero game that's coming in the next few years, from 2025 to 2027 and beyond. There's a lot of superhero games coming in the next few years. Summer Game Fest was yesterday and we got the new announcement of a new Deadpool VR game. So let's talk about that one specifically since it was the most recent announcement. So the game is called Deadpool VR and we'll talk about Deadpool going on some sorts of missions with characters we know from the comics like Mephisto that was in the trailer, but we still don't know much about the story of this world. The gameplay looks fun because new VR games are getting more advanced in terms of combat, etc. We saw that a lot in Batman Arkham Shadow. So it's very interesting that we're gonna see more VR games in the Marvel universe. We already had a VR game in the Iron Man VR game that was exclusive for PSVR. So it's good to see Marvel games expanding beyond PC and consoles to actual, VR consoles. But it's fun to see because Deadpool is a really fan favorite character that people wanted to see him get his own game. So now hearing that he's gonna get his own game just makes people a lot more interested in getting a MetaQuest 3 to play this one, along with Batman Arkham Shadows as well. So if you think you're going to enjoy the video, and if you're new to the channel, my name is George. I talk about superheroes, games, etc. So in case you enjoy this content and you want to see more content like this from me, consider subscribing down below and leave a like to let me know you enjoy this content. So next is one of the next Marvel games that's coming out next year, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. This is a game that will be set in World War II and will explore Black Panther and Captain America both in the Second World War fighting against the Hydra, basically Red Skull, Arnim Zola, etc. So we only got like 2 trailers for this one, the announcement trailer and then a story trailer. We still don't know much about the story besides that it's going to be Black Panther and Captain America fighting against Hydra, but we still need to see a lot more gameplay. Not a lot more gameplay, we at least see gameplay because we still haven't gotten anything for gameplay. I was really expecting to see something last night at Summer's Game Fest. I live streamed that event here on YouTube, but there was nothing unfortunately for 1943. But we still need to see gameplay because we still don't know the feel of this. I don't think we have like a description of what this gameplay will be. I'm expecting it will be something like Spider-Man, the Insomniac Spider-Man games, AAA open zone world. I know Wakanda is an explorable place in the game, so it will probably be a AAA open world game. But we still need to see a lot more from this game because I'm not totally sold, even though it has a big Marvel stamp on it. I still need to see a lot more gameplay and just more of the graphics because Marvel 1943 is actually one of the most advanced games ever graphically. It looks almost just like a movie. So yeah, we need to see stuff for the game immediately. Then we have the EA Motive Iron Man game, which has been in development for close to 3 years now, if not over 3 years. But the only thing we have is this first look photo showing basically the Iron Man suit with the shadow, so you can see a lot of it. I like the new symbol that it's like a diamond shape instead of like a circle or a triangle. I always did prefer the triangle shape, so it's cool to see more shapes like those in other Iron Man media. But one of the biggest updates we got for this game is that playtesting started back in 2022. So it's surprising that we still haven't gotten a first trailer for it. Hopefully it's not canceled like the Black Panther game. It was canceled a couple weeks ago. So this one is still supposed to come in the future, but we still don't know when. We might get a trailer during Gamescom or during the Game Awards, which are in December. And while we are on the EA train, they were also working on 2 other Marvel games. I believe they canceled Black Panther because it was still in pre-production for over 4 years. So that's not good when you're developing a new Marvel game or any game in general. I believe EA announced that they are still working on 2 other Marvel games. Back when it was Iron Man, Black Panther, and the third one, we still didn't know who it was for, and we still don't know. A lot of rumors said it would be Captain Marvel, but we still don't know. Might get announced at the Gamescom or the Game Awards this year. Probably, that's what I'm guessing, or maybe at another PlayStation event if anything happens this year. This one is the first non-Marvel game I'm going to talk about, which is Invincible. Invincible is getting its own AAA open world video game, which is deep into production actually. We saw a fundraiser a couple of years ago for this game, and so far production looks to be going smoothly. Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of Invincible and has been working closely on the game, has mentioned that he's seen a lot of stuff from the game. He's liked what he's seeing and he can't wait for us to see more footage for the game. I also expected a lot of footage for this game to be showed at Summer's Game Fest, but unfortunately not. That was a really mid show yesterday. If you watched like a bit of my stream, you knew that I was a bit disappointed throughout. I can't believe the biggest announcement for me, was Deadpool VR. I'm just not a Resident Evil person, I guess. But back to Invincible, they have already mentioned that they have DLC planned for the future, so that's very exciting. And I wonder when in the story this will be set in, because the game can start where the show started with Mark just now getting his powers.
Are you sure?
But it could also start on other points of the Invincible story, because there is a very rich lore in Invincible, just beyond Mark getting his powers. There's the blue suit era, then the yellow suit era again, then everything that happens, then Viltrum, a lot of stuff that I'm not going to spoil if you only watch the show. But there's a lot of rich lore in Invincible, so I wonder what this game will focus on. Next one is another Marvel game that I'm pretty sure is coming out this year, which is Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This will be basically like a pixel game, like the old fighting games that we had back in the day. Not we, but you know what I mean. Just not a fan of these games, to be honest. It's cool that it's Marvel and that has a lot of characters. I like Nova's design, at least in promo stuff. And yesterday we got an announcement of She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon joining the game's roster. So that's very exciting if you're into that type of games. I'm personally not, but next one is one of the most recent announcements of the new Marvel game, which is Marvel Token Fighting Souls. This will be a new fighting game in the Marvel Universe, following a select roster of characters in a 4v4 fighting game. I haven't been into a lot of fighting games. I've played Marvel vs. Capcom, along with a couple of NetherRealm games like Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1, a couple of Mortal Kombat games, and both Injustice games. So seeing this during the PlayStation State of Play was definitely a surprise, because I was expecting like an Avengers game when I saw the Captain America shield. But it's cool that it's a new fighting game. The art style looks pretty cool. Some of the designs I'm a little bit mixed on, like Spider-Man and Star-Lord, but Iron Man, Doctor Doom do look pretty good. So I'm happy for the designs. The style of the game also looks very colorful, very energetic, so I like that. And it comes out next year, so that's very, very exciting if you're into that sort of game, Marvel and fighting games. So definitely something to look forward to next year. Next is the first DC game on this list, which is Wolf Among Us 2. Personally, I've never played the first Wolf Among Us, but I've played the first season of the Batman Telltale series. I still haven't played The Enemy Within, but I've heard a lot of good things about Wolf Among Us, so I'm definitely looking forward to the second one. I saw the trailer like 3 years ago when it came out, and the art style does look pretty cool. It does look like a very stylistic game. The purples, the yellows, the colors. So, especially by how Wolf Among Us fans are eagerly waiting for footage, just got me more and more excited for this game, even though I know nothing about it. Next is the big one. Not the big one because people are thinking it's dead. And at this point, I'm sort of agreeing on that, which is Marvel's Wolverine. Was announced back on 2021 PlayStation Showcase, and now I understand why it's not getting footage at all. Makes sense because of the hacks from 2023. The fact that show like a lot of gameplay, story stuff that weren't meant to be seen ever, besides when the game came out. So I'm getting why they're taking so long with footage, and that makes sense. But we still don't have like a release window for this game. The only little updates we've gotten from Atomic is that the game is coming, that they're excited to show us footage when it's ready. So it's clear that they're still not ready to show footage, because I'm guessing they're probably like redoing a lot of stuff that was leaked, and that makes sense because with the surprises ruined, I'm guessing that they would want to show new stuff that the hackers couldn't get into. So that makes sense. Still looking forward to this game. We will have footage, hopefully at the Game Awards. That seems like the biggest place where it could get big, like a big trailer, like a world premiere trailer. So the chances are never zero that we see something for Wolverine this year. Next is the first game that was actually announced at a Game Awards show, which is Marvel's Blade. We still don't have a release window for it, but we know that Arcane and Leon are working on it clearly. We've only really seen the trailer and a new promo picture that they showed, I think, on their website to celebrate, I think, an anniversary, not sure. But we still don't know much about this game. We know that it will be set in Paris and will focus Blade fighting against all these vampires and stuff. So that's very cool, especially for a fan of Blade like me. But if I were to say at the earliest, it's coming out like in 2027. It was announced, I think, back in 2023. I think by the end at the Game Awards. So there's still a lot of time left for this game to come out, and I don't blame them. Most of the times these games get announced early because of investors, and that makes sense. But sometimes they're announced too early, if you get what I mean. Wonder Woman. Next is another non-Marvel or DC video game, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin video game. Now, this one is in a hefty position because I think last year there were a lot of layoffs back at THQ Nordic, which is the studio working on this game, and apparently they fired like a lot of people that were developing games. But from the creators of the game, we still know that the game is coming. Fortunately, The Last Ronin is one of the most iconic Ninja Turtle stories ever, period. So I really hope to see this because I'm also a big fan of the Ninja Turtles. I recently watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. That was a very, very fun movie. I need the sequel now. But I've also read The Last Ronin story. Is a very dark, mature story. I'm happy that the game is not leaning away from that. And there's also a Last Ronin movie coming, I think, like in live action. So a lot of TMNT stuff coming in the future. We still have any release windows for it. We only ever had like the first look picture of it when the game was announced, I think 2 years ago. So if I were to say at the earliest 2027. And now the last Marvel game on this list that is actually confirmed to be in the works is Marvel's Spider-Man 3. We know this because Aaron Lowenthal, the voice of Spider-Man, has already talked about the development of this game, saying that Peter will not be out for the whole game, that will be back in some capacity as Spider-Man. The second game ended with Norman Osborn and Otto Octavius basically joining forces to fight against Spider-Man in the final chapter. So this will be the third game and probably the final chapter in the Spider-Man story, unfortunately, which is so far a good series of games. The first one was peak, the second one was, mixed on. A lot of cool stuff, but a lot of cut stuff as well. And a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, like the final suit that Miles was wearing at the end of the story. That was still horrible. But hopefully they retcon this suit. And hopefully we hear news for this game soon. We know that Insomniac is still focused on Wolverine so far, but they're still, having smaller teams work on Spider-Man, which makes sense. And now for games that still aren't officially confirmed by anyone working on these studios, but it's only right to assume that they're coming. That just makes sense. First of all is Injustice 3. We all know that this game is coming, even though they haven't officially announced it, but Mortal Kombat 1 recently stopped support and released the Definitive Edition, I think. So basically with Mortal Kombat 1 stopping support, period, it's only right to assume that NetherRealm is moving on to the next big thing, which will most likely be Injustice. I don't see them going to a whole new IP, to be honest. But Injustice 3 is the most logical thing. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. And the last game is one that was apparently confirmed, but not officially, by Rocksteady or anything. So we're still working on the announcement trailer. But Rocksteady is apparently working on a new Batman game, a new Batman Arkham game. We still don't know much about it. If it will be focused on Bruce Wayne, if it will be focused on someone else. But we know that it's Batman, and there's heavy rumors that it might be a PlayStation exclusive. So stay on the lookout for that. If this were to be a Batman game, I'd love to be basically the Arkham Legacy game that was supposed to come out prior to Suicide Squad, which was going to be basically set in the future of the Batman Arkham world, focused on Damian Wayne becoming Batman, with a lot of new takes on the villains. That would have been a cool concept. But if it isn't that, I'd love to see a Batman Beyond game. Batman Beyond is one of those IPs, one of those characters really, that has a lot of potential because of how futuristic it looks. Some of the villains, I'd love to see Blight in live action. That would be pretty cool. And just mostly Batman Beyond. Terry McGinnis is a very cool character, a very worthy successor to the Batman mantle, I'd say. So yeah, I'd love to see something for Batman Beyond in the future. That was an animated film that was in the works, but that was canceled, unfortunately. But yeah, if this rumor is true that there's a new Batman Arkham game in the works, I'm really hoping it's Batman Beyond or something that doesn't include Bruce Wayne. Because we had a lot of Batman, a lot of Bruce Wayne already. A big majority of the impact from Gotham Knights was Bruce Wayne's shadow, basically. It was focused on Bruce Wayne dying and then his Robins, sidekicks, etc. just, taking his place in protecting Gotham, trying to fulfill his legacy. So Bruce Wayne Killer has a big impact on these games, but hopefully it doesn't focus that much on him, if you get what I mean. So yeah. So these are basically just a couple of the video games, superhero video games, are coming in the next few years. Next few, I don't know, not next few, but in the next couple of years, that's better. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and comment below for which game you're most excited to. I'm George, peace out, take care.